Welcome everybody to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about Moldavite. Just a heads up really for anybody who gets a bit freaked out by anything weird and strange. It's probably best if you leave this video and move on to the next one. This is for people who are seriously going through certain difficulties with Moldavite, and I'd like to explain certain things. I'd like to go into detail into that. So if it kind of freaks you out a little bit, maybe go on to a happy video. But this is kind of a deep understanding of Moldavite, but it's also a deep understanding of what's happening in the world right now with regards to the spiritual battle between good and evil, if you want to call it that, or energies, or whatever it may be. But I'd like to explain anyway. So if you've got children and you don't want anything negative, just move on to the next video. This is for people who are really genuinely interested in what's going on with Moldavite right now. So there's been a surge this week and last week, and I noticed a couple of weeks prior to that as well, surge of people saying that they're struggling with Moldavite and they were fine. So they were fine a few months ago or 6 months ago, and then they're back again and they're putting Moldavite on, especially when they're asleep. One of the things that I often used to say is work through Moldavite, and what that means is if you're going through some trauma, if you've got some issues inside that have been trapped there, sometimes Moldavite really does pull it out. But when you're pulling out a bullet from a wound that you've got, might be an old wound, then you're going to have to recut it again. You have to go inside and you're going to be in bloody pain, and then when you pull it out you're relieved. I believe that certain crystals have that frequency to help release that kind of energy. But when you have trapped trauma, it does come with a kind of a dark energy to it, and you can feel it. It's a feeling, and it can be awful. Now, that said, I think that was very different from 10 years ago when I said this, and I think things have changed an awful lot, and I've made videos about it. I think the world that we live in is completely different world. It's not the same. Nobody reacts the same. Nobody behaves the same. Everybody is very different from what they used to be. Some people are so overwhelmed by life, this new life, that they don't see anything at all, and a lot of people just follow whatever they're told. The programming of AI technology, the programming of the world that controls everybody is so manipulating. It seems as though they've steamrolled. They've just gone into full force, and whatever the energy was of my little doggy, whatever the energy was prior, that they realised that there is a shift and people are becoming awake. They needed to compensate. They needed to counteract that. And the only way they could do it, and I hope you've all gone now, if you're not, please don't listen to this, okay, because it's a bit too much for some people. But if you're a healer, practitioner, somebody who's really wanting to get to the bottom of certain things that are happening right now, I've mentioned a few times CERN. And CERN, I believe, is the hub of everything that's happened, of the change of what's happening right now. So I'm going to give you some ideas of what I've been through, and some of my friends and clients that contact me daily. I'm always interested in hearing your experiences and putting the pieces together. It seems as though what once was, when we fall asleep, we're able to release from this bodysuit very freely, especially if you're asleep and you're going through healing. That's an amazing thing as well. So we're able to leave the body system because it's in rest, and that's what normally happens. So I've done a lot of videos and I've stated to people that I don't know who I am, why I'm here, what's my purpose, and I'll say, well, you might not know who you are in this world of being awake and trying to understand everything, which is difficult because this world wasn't really the world that you were meant to come to. It's changed. It's been manipulated. So that is why a lot of the times you're a bit stressed and you find it difficult to eat, to sleep, to work, because none of these things we don't do anything that we should do. The food isn't the food we should be eating. The work, what we're doing, isn't the work that we came here to do. We didn't come to work here. We came to do other things. It's all been hijacked. But the purpose of this video, sorry I sidetracked, but the purpose of this video on a night when you're wearing Moldavite is, how do I begin? So prior to the deeper understanding that I came to, understand through meditation, sleep, working as a healer, and then doing the absent healing, and then starting to try to work on absent healing, absent travel, and all that kind of stuff. We used to do that on a daily basis for many, many years. And as we did that, we realized that, as I said to clients, don't be upset, because when you're asleep, you're actually doing a lot of good on this world, in a spiritual sense. So you're not in a spacesuit, you're not walking around picking things up and helping people, but you're actually doing things. You're whispering, you're nudging, you're trying to create good energy and protection around people. You're doing things to help people. And that was a very normal thing. So you could be healing somebody. So sometimes you could be sat there feeling great, and you could be sat with somebody else, and that somebody else is perfect energy for our spirit world, you, to just nip into and then feed that energy of the universe and the spirit world into that person. So the person's feeling bad, they meet somebody just by coincidence, they feel a lot better, they go, and now you did your job through somebody. That's what happens to me as I'm healing a client. Your family member might come through around or within that energy and start healing, because the energy we've created, the energy around our energy field, is high, so that they can come into our energy, and our energy is high, so we meet midway. So that said, I started recognizing that there was a very, very slow drip feed of poisoning people in many ways. And that was the Red Bulls. Remember that? Remember all the trashy foods that were bringing out, which was poison foods. People were getting sick with lots of things, and that was the drip feed. Then there was, so many other things that were like drip feed into people, and then you kind of, a little bit later, then it came, not just the fear, but fear coupled with poisons that they were now forcing into people. And I said at that time that something's happened, that on a night when you have poison in your body, something's happened to the soul. I know that CERN is not science, it's scientism, it's a religion, and it's connected to the Vatican, and I know wholeheartedly that it's all a hub. And they understand that when they studied many years the soul, they realized that that's what they needed to capture. That's what they needed to capture. And they knew that when people like you and I are healthy and well and free thinking and allowed to be who we were meant to be, to get on with life, when we're asleep, it's a beautiful transition of moving through and helping people. And these dark demonic companies know this. So what they tried to do then, and they did it with great success, is that they practiced on many people to find out, can the soul leave the body when it's asleep, and how can they hijack that? Hijacking the soul is by poisoning the body. So you imagine your soul is here. Your soul is perfectly matched with the physical body. You bring them together like a glove. Now, CERN and all of these monsters needed to figure a way out that they don't come together. So it's like it just doesn't come together. Because when you come together like this, something happens that passes through, the soul passes through here and then goes. If they can stop the soul because of the damage of the body, something happens that the soul stays trapped. So basically, there is 90 or 95% of people now that their souls are trapped in their body. They're not in communication, then it's no way in balance. And thus, on a night, you've got less souls in this earth plane helping people. That's why there's more issues, more problems, more anger, more this, more that, because the soul was coming to help connect you to your soul. So they would come close to help you feel your soul. So, I better not do that. I shouldn't have said that. Now, there's none of that. That's why everybody's hating each other. It's a hater's world now. It's perfect for what CERN wanted to create. By doing that, you're finding that on a night, a lot of people, twofold. One's the ones that didn't get jabbed are struggling because now they're free to go. they're up against a lot more dark and demonic energy and entity. There's not the balance anymore of the soul or of you asleep here, coupled with the soul, I believe, of spirit world. There's a different frequency of both, but I still believe it's very close. And that's one of the reasons why when you're asleep and you've got Moldavite on, there's a trigger, and it can trigger that understanding of what's going on. And I think there's a lot of darkness around us all the time. There's a lot of forces manipulating. It's like it's rife with darker energies, entities and attachments now than ever before. So you're finding that your soul is now fighting more. It's more struggling more to do its purpose because of the darkest forces. So sometimes you can feel when you wake up that you've had a really heavy night, and it was you were basically fighting dark forces. Your soul was working as a light worker to try and make the difference in the world, and they're up against the dark forces. A lot of people say that darkness and light can't come together, and that is absolutely true. They can. But if you're trying to create a world of balance and light, and there's not that much light around, and there's a lot more darkness coming through these now broken portals, veils, whatever you want to call them, it's more of a challenge. So that's why the world's changed. It's not what it used to be. You don't feel the same as you used to do 20 years ago. Things have changed. It just feels wrong. So when you blame Moldavite for wearing it and you said you've had a bad night, just think again of this conversation and what I've said, because sometimes, just sometimes, it's not always the crystal that causes the issue. So with Moldavite, what I noticed, that coupled with Tektite, which absorbs negative energy and is also a protector, and a beautiful crystal called Herkimer Diamond, this combination is a great protector. So I sleep with this often. I don't have the grief that people do with Moldavite alone, because there's a compensator to it. These two. One helps you seek more clearly and understand it more and let it go. The other one is an absorber of any negative energy that is created through the physical body from the stress of whatever's going on. Like I said, when you go into dreams, the dream state, it takes you to another place. It's not the state that you're in. So when you're in a dream state, you're in another. It's another bandwave, and in that bandwave is not anymore the same as it used to be. When you wear Moldavite, you become more heightened to that bandwave. You become more in tune with that bandwave. That's why you can feel more extraterrestrial, more unusual energies, because you're wearing Moldavite. So what it's actually doing is showing you the real truth of what's going on in and around you. And some people are saying that it feels like nightmares. Some people it feels like weird, awful things. Yeah, because what you don't see is what's happening around us. That's why the world feels different. That's why people are abusive and angry and saying nasty things and doing the most horrendous things. Because this new frequency, this new energy that is brought through, that should never have come here, that is everywhere now, seems to be manipulating people. So it's easier to lie. It's harder to speak the truth, because they will come after you. Because these entity energies don't like truth. Truth vibrates at a high frequency. If you lie, it vibrates at the cesspit energy that it wants and feeds from. So it will want you to lie more, and you will be rewarded more. You speak the truth, you will be attacked and you will be punished. So you imagine when you're asleep wearing Moldavite, it's high frequency. You are receiving vivid dreams, but they're not dreams. You're actually in the place. So there is stuff happening, guys, beyond our realm that we see. And healers sometimes kind of tune into that and say, it isn't the same world anymore. There is things happening. And I mentioned CERN years ago, before most people did, and said I was very worried about it, and I knew it was a lie before they did the opening of the train tunnel, which was all connected to it. I knew before this. I'd spoken to people who worked in CERN, and none of this makes any sense. Something's really dodgy here. And then they made a video with what's it called? I can't remember, but it was a Dan Brown one where, you know, they were finding the God particle and all this, and you know, there's so much going on that we don't know about and what they're messing with and they shouldn't mess with, and now they're creating a bigger one. So you can see that evil is growing and anything good is being suppressed and is being attacked. So don't blame Moldavite. Moldavite actually is here to help you. Moldavite is here to show you what we need to see. So that's my take on it. Or you can just blame everything and say it's a bad thing. It's up to you. I know my truth. I've worked with Moldavite for 20 years and all I've ever had is the most amazing experiences. Difficult, challenging, but when you step back and actually look at it truly and understand it, then you realise that that green, beautiful thing that, you know, Superman said is going to weigh him down and he's going to lose his power was actually Moldavite, not kryptonite. It was Moldavite. It was just, again, it's very clever. It's called predictive programming. So you'll believe that that's no good, just like the predictive programming on Wonder Woman. Oh, this, what is it? It's yellow and it's, what do they call it again? It's a crystal. It must be evil. Yeah, it's called citrine and it's very powerful and very amazing. Oh, but I watched a Hollywood movie and they said that, you know, if you said a wish, then everything would go wrong in your life, and it's bad. Yeah, of course it is. Predictive programming, guys. You've got to wake up to all of this. It's deliberate and it's been here forever. So, Moldavite, fantastic. Wear it as much as you want, but work with it and understand it. Sit back, meditate on it. Don't just come up with, oh, it's bloody awful, oh, terrible night. Yeah, that's the easy option. Why don't you sit down, meditate on it, and think about what that was. It wasn't just a nightmare. Something's happening, and you have to look at the very, very delicate, small signs that are given to us, as well as some thunderbolt lightning ones, and we have to work it out. That's why we're here to do that, here to understand it. Anyway, I'm a lover of Moldavite, as you all know. I think it's the most powerful crystal in the world, and I hope that just this little conversation might make you think a little bit, rather than just pull out of thin air that's just made you feel bad and you've had a vivid nightmare and it was horrible and I'm not going to wear it again. Could have been a wonderful sign to help you along your journey to wake up. Maybe, just maybe. Take care, everybody.